In the chilling continuation of the first movie, The Black Phone 2, 2025, begins several years after Finney Blake's narrow escape from the grabber. The world has moved on, but Finney's nightmares have not. Now a young adult, he still sees flickering shadows and hears echoes of the black phone ringing in his mind. He tries to live a normal life in Denver, going to college, keeping to himself, and pretending he has left the darkness behind. But deep inside, the scars of that basement still haunt him. Meanwhile, a new wave of kidnappings begins spreading across nearby towns. Children have gone missing again, but this time the police are lost in confusion. Every victim seems to vanish without a trace, and no pattern can be found. When Finney hears about the disappearances on the news, something inside him stirs, an old, familiar fear. The headlines describe a man who wears masks eerily similar to the grabbers. People start whispering that the grabber has returned from the dead, though logically it's impossible. Finney knows the truth is never that simple. One night, he receives a mysterious call, but not from any phone nearby. It's the sound he thought he'd never hear again, the ringing of the black rotary phone. It echoes inside his mind, pulling him into a trance. When he answers, the voice on the other end isn't the same as before. It's faint, almost desperate, whispering his name. "Finney, it's not over." The voice fades, but those few words shatter his world again. Finney becomes obsessed, trying to track the call, searching for meaning, but no trace exists. Gwen, his sister, who still has her psychic dreams, begins to experience terrifying visions again, of a house, blood on the floor, and children crying in the dark. She tells Finney that what she sees feels like a warning. Together, they decide to revisit the past, returning to the old neighborhood where everything began. But the grabber's house has been demolished. Only the foundation remains, surrounded by weeds and silence. Still, when Finney steps near the ruins, he feels a sudden chill. And for a moment, he swears he hears the faint ring of the black phone buried beneath the earth. From there, things grow darker. That night, Finney dreams of the boys who helped him escape, the spirits of the grabber's victims. But now they look different. Their faces are twisted with fear, as if something worse has found them even after death. They warn him that another has taken the mask, someone more dangerous, someone who doesn't just kill for pleasure, but feeds on fear itself. When Finney wakes, he finds a black handprint on his wrist, like ash. Meanwhile, across town, a new man is introduced, a social worker named Daniel Crane, who helps troubled kids and is praised by the community. But behind closed doors, his world is filled with sinister rituals. In his basement stands a newly restored black phone, identical to the one used by the grabber. Daniel believes the phone allows him to communicate with the restless dead, and that through their pain, he can gain power. What no one knows is that Daniel found the original phone among the ruins years ago, and something attached itself to him that day. Slowly, he's becoming its vessel. The ghostly voices that once tried to save Finney now whisper to Daniel, twisting his mind. The more he listens, the stronger the evil becomes. Soon, Daniel starts wearing his own mask, a crude recreation of the grabbers, and begins his hunt for new victims. One by one, children vanish again, and the town falls into panic. Gwen's visions intensify. She sees flashes of a boy locked in a dark room, a black phone glowing faintly beside him. She knows it's happening again. Finney tries to warn the police, but they dismiss his story as trauma-induced paranoia. With no help, he and Gwen begin investigating on their own. They follow clues from Gwen's dreams, a red truck, a school logo, a decaying house with a basement light flickering behind broken windows. Late one night, Finney sneaks into that house, determined to end this once and for all. As he walks through the silent halls, he feels déjà vu. Every step echoes like it did years ago. The air grows colder. He hears whispers, the same boys from before, guiding him. He's here. Suddenly, the black phone on the wall starts ringing, though it's cracked and dusty. Finney freezes. He hesitates, then answers. The line crackles, and a familiar but distorted voice speaks. It's one of the dead kids, but they're screaming this time. "Get out, he's not who you think." Before Finney can react, the door slams shut behind him. A figure steps out from the shadows, Daniel, wearing the new mask, his eyes empty. He thanks Finney for answering the call. "You're the reason I found it," he says. "You opened the door between worlds." Daniel reveals that when Finney escaped years ago, part of the darkness attached to him, a fragment of the grabber's spirit that never truly died. The black phone is the link between life and death, and Daniel has learned to control it. He can summon the dead, even command them, but it comes with a cost. The spirits, once victims, are now enslaved to the phone's curse. Daniel plans to finish what the grabber started, but this time, not just in one neighborhood. He wants to spread the fear everywhere. The phone starts ringing again, louder and louder, shaking the entire basement. Daniel picks it up, listening to the voices that whisper commands. Finney realizes he's not fighting a man anymore, but something far more ancient, an entity that thrives on the pain of children. He tries to escape, but Daniel slams him to the ground. The two struggle, and in the chaos, the black phone cord wraps around Daniel's arm as if alive. The ghosts scream through the phone, causing the lights to flicker violently. In that moment, Finney grabs the receiver and yells into it, calling out to the boys who once saved him. "Help me one last time." For a brief instant, the voices answer. The phone glows red, and Daniel is thrown back, screaming as the mask cracks across his face. Finney escapes the basement, barely alive. As he runs into the night, the house bursts into flames, consumed by supernatural fire. He collapses outside, breathing hard, staring as the flames die down to ashes. Gwen finds him there, crying and shaking but safe. However, just before the credits roll, we see the camera pan toward the ruins again. Amid the smoke, the black phone stands untouched, its cord still pulsing faintly. And then, it rings once more. Finney turns toward the sound, his eyes filled with dread, as the screen cuts to black, leaving the haunting ring echoing into silence. Every night, he dreams of the phone ringing again, and each time he answers it, he hears a different voice. Sometimes the children he once knew, sometimes something darker imitating them. The calls feel real. His lights flicker when it happens, and he begins to see shadows forming behind his reflection. Gwen notices his behavior changing. He becomes withdrawn, paranoid, talking to himself. One evening, while reviewing the news about the recent fire, Gwen sees something terrifying. Daniel Crane's body was never found in the wreckage. The police assume he burned to ashes, but Gwen knows better. Her visions return, more vivid and violent than ever. She sees Daniel wandering through a desolate street, his mask half melted, his eyes glowing faintly behind it. He's holding the phone receiver, and every time he speaks into it, screams echo through her dreams. She warns Finney that the evil has spread beyond the basement now. It's moving through the phone lines, through signals, through every device that carries a voice. Finney doesn't believe her at first, but one night, his college dorm phone rings, even though it's unplugged. When he answers, he hears Daniel's distorted voice laughing. "You think fire can stop me? You made me, Finney. The grabber showed me fear, but you showed me how to survive it." The phone explodes in static, and the lights go out. Across town, children begin vanishing again, not just in Denver but across the entire state. Parents report hearing strange phone calls right before their kids disappear. The sound of breathing, whispers, or laughter on the other end. Gwen and Finney realize that the black phone's curse has evolved. It no longer needs a basement or a single killer. It's feeding off the memories of those who once believed in it. Finney decides the only way to stop this is to destroy the source completely. Through Gwen's visions, they learn that the original black phone was created decades ago by a man who practiced dark seances. The phone wasn't meant for murder. It was designed to bridge the living and the dead. But every time it was used by someone cruel, its purpose twisted. Now its spirit, hungry and corrupted, has merged with Daniel's will. The siblings find an old newspaper article about a derelict asylum outside the city, the place where the original creator of the black phone conducted his experiments. Gwen dreams of this asylum, seeing corridors lined with flickering phones and shadows of the lost. They head there at night, carrying only a flashlight and a crowbar. The building is abandoned, walls covered in mold and wires hanging like veins. As soon as they step inside, every phone in the hallway starts ringing at once. Finney grabs Gwen's hand, pushing forward. Each phone they pass seems to whisper their names, luring them to answer. When they reach the central chamber, they find something impossible. The original black phone, mounted on a decaying altar of wires and bones, its cord pulsing like a living thing. Daniel stands before it, his mask now fused to his skin, his eyes pitch black. He welcomes Finney like an old friend. "You opened the way once. Now help me finish it." Around them, ghostly figures emerge, the souls of the grabber's victims, but they're no longer innocent. The phone's curse has twisted them into tormenting echoes. They surround Gwen and Finney, chanting, "Join us." Daniel explains that every soul trapped in the phone exists in both worlds, bound to pain. He believes that by merging with them, he can become something eternal, a being that controls fear itself. Finney refuses, trying to reason with the ghosts, reminding them who they once were. But Daniel raises the phone and begins chanting an ancient invocation, his voice blending with the static of thousands of cries. The ground shakes, and the building's lights flicker red. Gwen suddenly has a vision of the original creator's journal buried beneath the altar. She rushes to dig it out while Finney distracts Daniel. He throws a piece of debris, breaking the ritual for a moment. Daniel screams, the phone's cord wrapping around Finney's throat, lifting him off the ground. Gwen finds the journal and reads aloud the counter-ritual written inside. As she chants, the ghosts start remembering who they were, their faces shifting from rage to sorrow. One by one, they turn against Daniel, their spectral hands dragging him backward toward the phone. He fights, screaming Finney's name, but the spirits pull him in. The black phone glows violently as Daniel's body disintegrates into static, and the cord tightens, consuming itself until only silence remains. The building begins collapsing. Gwen and Finney run, barely escaping as the asylum implodes into the ground. Outside, the night sky is eerily quiet. They watch as smoke rises, forming what looks like faces, the freed souls finally at peace. But just as they begin to believe it's over, Finney's phone buzzes in his pocket. He takes it out, and to his horror, the caller ID simply says, "Unknown." He answers slowly, trembling. The voice is soft, familiar. It's his own voice, but younger. "You can't run from what's inside you." The call cuts off. Gwen grabs his arm, asking who it was, but Finney doesn't answer. He drops the phone to the ground, smashing it to pieces. The screen flickers one last time before dying completely. They drive away in silence, but as the camera pans back toward the ruins of the asylum, a faint ringing is heard again, echoing through the wind. Deep underground, amid the rubble, the black phone lies half-buried yet intact, its cord twitching like it's breathing. A child's voice whispers faintly from the receiver, "Hello? Can you hear me?" before the screen fades to black. The credits roll, showing faint glimpses of newspaper headlines about phone signals interfering across the country, suggesting that the curse still lingers in the lines, waiting for someone else to answer. The final post-credit scene shows a teenage boy sitting in his bedroom late at night, scrolling through his phone. He hears a faint static noise through his earbuds. Confused, he takes them off, but the sound continues. He looks at his nightstand where an old rotary phone suddenly appears, glowing faintly. It rings once. The boy hesitates, then picks up the receiver. As soon as he says hello, his eyes widen in horror, and the screen cuts to black as the ringing starts again, looping endlessly. The story ends here, hinting that evil never truly dies. It just finds a new voice to speak through.